we are going to discuss about the various methods that are involved in the process of asexual reproduction. So there are various methods by which the asexually reproducing organism would give birth to their offspring or the young ones. One such a method, or the first method that we are going to discuss, is about fission. Fission, the word fission means splitting, dividing. So it is where the parent organism splits up or divides to form the new daughter cells or the new daughter organism. So here in the case, it can produce two daughter cells by splitting up of the parent organism, or it can produce more daughter cells as well. The case where you have the parent organism splitting up to produce two daughter cells, you call it as binary fission. Binary fission, the term or the word bi refers to two. So here the parent cell would divide to form two daughter cells. Example, amoeba, euglena. Followed by the case where the parent cell divides to form multiple organism, many organism. So when the parent cell divides to form many cells or many organism, many daughter cells will be formed. Example, plasmodium. In the case of multiple fission, you take it, it normally occurs under unfavorable condition. Even this amoeba, which undergoes binary fission under normal condition, would undergo multiple fission when it is facing some unfavorable circumstances. Same is the case with many other organisms where multiple fission is a type of asexual reproduction which occurs during unfavorable condition. But in the case of plasmodium, it is a normal method of reproduction. We are going to see how this process of binary fission occurs in amoeba. So this is amoeba, where you have a parent organism. So this is called parent amoeba. This parent amoeba first undergoes elongation of nucleus, which means there will be division of nucleus, that is termed as karyokinesis. And the next step, you will form a central groove here in this region. This center grooves would start splitting up the organism into two, like this, where it splits into two, and finally it would give rise to two daughter cells. So this splitting up of cytoplasm is what is termed as cytokinesis. So these are the two steps that are involved in the process of binary fission in amoeba. Binary fission is where the parent organism splits to form two daughter cell. This is about multiple fission that occurs in plasmodium. So here is the parent cell. So the parent cell will form many daughter cells like this. There are many daughter cells that are formed, and you could find an outer protective wall. The name of the outer protective wall is cyst. So this cyst formation is a characteristic feature of organism that reproduces by multiple fission. So this cyst actually offers a very protective covering to protect these daughter cells under unfavorable condition. Once the cyst wall breaks up like this, it releases all daughter amoebae outside. Or in the case of plasmodium, if you have the cyst formation, after the breaking of the cyst under favorable condition, it would release all those daughter cells to the external environment for further growth and development. So this is what is called as binary fission and multiple fission. Now, the second and the next asexual method of reproduction is what is called as budding. From the word budding, you could have identified that there will be a formation of an outgrowth that is termed as bud. So some small bulb-like structures would project out from the parent body, and those buds would grow, mature, and develop. After its maturity, it would detach and come out of the parent body. It falls on the suitable substratum, and it now grows as a new individual. So such a process of asexual method of reproduction, where from the parent cell a outgrowth or an projection that is projected From the parent body, it detaches on maturity and grows as a new individual is termed as budding. Yeast and hydra are the typical examples of organism that undergoes or that follows this method of asexual reproduction. So this is how the process of budding occurs in hydra. So you have hydra which has got the tentacles that is present. So here a small protrusion you can see. The protrusion grows and develops and it gives out a matured outgrowth. Now after maturity, see, it is detaching from the parent body, comes out and grow as a new individual. This is what happens in the case of hydra. What is it in the case of yeast? Yeast cell, a small division of nucleus and cytoplasm, would get first initiated by formation of a bud or an outgrowth. Now the new bud has formed, and to the top of the new bud, there would be chains of buds that are forming in the case of yeast. So this is a characteristic feature of yeast. Now, this is the next method of asexual reproduction that occurs in certain organism, which is termed as fragmentation. Which means they form fragments or pieces, and these fragments or pieces would grow and develop an individual adult organism. That is what is called as fragmentation, where the breaking down of the parent cell into two or more pieces would occur. So this breaking down of parent organism occurs only after the process of maturation. An organism grows, matures, and it splits up into many fragments or pieces. It can be two or more. Each of the fragment is capable of giving rise to a whole organism. Each and every piece and fragment that breaks down from the parent organism is capable of giving rise to a new adult individual. So this type of fragmentation is normally seen in organism which has got a single cell type. And also the body organization should be very simple. Example, a filamentous algae called Spirogyra, which is a filamentous algae. So this is what is the process of fragmentation in Spirogyra. See, you have a nucleus that is present. So this is one cell. So you have a nucleus that is present. Septum is a gap that is present between the cells, and you have a spiral chloroplast that is seen at the center. So in the septum region, after maturity, it breaks and it divides to form many organism and many cells, and each of it is capable of giving rise to a new spirogyra. So this is what is termed as fragmentation. So each and every fragment of the organism is capable of giving rise to a whole organism, that is termed as fragmentation. A typical example is the filamentous algae, which is Spirogyra. The next method of asexual reproduction that we are going to talk about now is regeneration. What do you mean by regeneration? Do we have regenerative power in our body? Yes, we do have, but in the case of many multicellular organisms, it is restricted to certain region. It's not that our whole body is capable of regeneration. Certain parts, such as nails, hair region, or hair follicles, all these are capable of regeneration in our body. You might have seen the regenerative power of a lizard. When the tail is cut, it can give rise to their tail again. So, in certain higher organism, it is restricted to certain region. But in the case of many lower level organism, the power of regeneration is capable that it can give rise to a whole organism, which means certain multicellular, fully differentiated organism can give rise to a new individual from any of its body parts. say head, abdomen, tail, or whichever body part there happens to be any accidental cut, they can give rise to a whole organism. So is the case with Hydra and Planaria, which are organisms which are capable of giving rise to a new individual from their body parts. So they do have certain specialized undifferentiated cell. So these cells would now differentiate to form whichever body parts that is missing to give rise to a whole organism. So that is how it happens in the case of Hydra and Planaria. So this is how the regeneration planaria occurs. So this is the parent organism. When you happen to have an accidental cut of this planaria into three different parts, each of it is capable of giving rise to a whole organism. So now when you divide planaria into three parts, you will get three planarias like this, as it would regenerate and give rise to a whole organism.
We have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching BioPhobia. Kindly do comment below if you have any doubts or clarifications regarding this session. Thank you once again.